Okay, welcome to the Madmen Talk Show. You have myself, Jaja, on the line. You have Beloved on the line, and you have Arthur Malik on the line. Today's topic is how do relatives become enemies? How do relatives become enemies? Yeah. So Jamil, you wanna give your take on it first?
Yes, sir. There are a myriad of reasons for which relatives can part ways. As the most recent, I've seen money is definitely a factor, or can be a factor.
You said money?
Money can be a factor for sure, because you and I have these blood brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let you say $400. And I'm not a wealthy man, so the $400 I'll let you might have been my rent money. But I'll let it to you like 2 weeks from the rent is due, and I tell you, dear brother, we fans, I got it, you got it. Of course, I have a wife and children. I'm going to take this chance with you. I'm going to believe in you. I need the $400 now, September 15th. By September 30th, I need my $400 back. No questions asked. Like, listen, no problem.
Right.
I ain't got no bad habits. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I asked the $400 for a car repair. As my car is repaired, I can run around and do what I got to do. Get your money back probably by the 28th, 29th. Definitely by the 30th. So I believe in you. Now when I come to you on the 30th, you come to me and say, something went wrong. I don't have it. I say, well, do you have something? So listen, bro, I don't have none of it. Now you put me in a position where now you're inconveniencing me, my wife, and my children. That's not a good thing. Will I become your enemy for that? You're worth more to me than $400. So we wouldn't be enemies per se. But all depending on how you handle your affairs from there on after, that would decide as to whether or not, you're not going to pay the fees to have them give each other. Because though $400 is not an enormous amount of money, you put me in a bind I didn't have to be in. But I trusted you, I believe in you. And now you didn't think, listen, at all costs, I have to get this man's money back. He needs for his rent. Take care of his family, with a roof over their head. So at that point, I could see how somebody could part ways. I wouldn't use the term enemy as a strong term, but over time, let's say 2 or 3 months go by, you still ain't got it. You're not even trying to get it. You lied to it. So it could lead to you being classified as setting up a very strong term.
Right.
So money is as well.
Yeah, because that was going to be my next question. Is so if you lent your brother, your cousin, your niece, your nephew, your aunt, or somebody $400, and they don't pay you back, would they now become your enemy?
Again, enemy is a strong term. I don't think we can be on the terms anymore or be friends. Of course, we can't change our bloodline based on any monetary amount.
Right.
But I don't think I want you and your family over to my house next week or next month. I don't know, we're not going to have the same camaraderie we used to have, that same, feeling of coolness, for lack of a better word, that we used to have. That's not going to be there. Of course, we're not brother for life, but it can turn things, it can turn things less than good for us, I would say, because again, it's not the $400 that I had to throw away. It's $400 that I told you in the beginning. I'm trusting you. I need this back for my rent. To keep my family, my wife, my children, a roof over their head, food on the table, and clothes on their back. So I would think that you would take that seriously enough to get my money back to me in a timely manner. And you didn't, and so that can cause a divide. Now, I can be mature about the matter and forgive you. I'm not sure everybody else can. So we do know out of the 7 babies on this earth, there are families who are at war with each other right now for less than $400. I just want to take it out there arbitrarily. But there are families that I'm sure who are in the war right now over $20 and $30. It all depends on the economic situation and what you need that money for.
Right. So, Arthur Malik, what's your take on it? How do relatives become enemies?
Wow. Well, relatives is just the same blood lineage. This is the relation that they had. They had the relation through blood.
Right.
And I think what is making relatives become enemies are the fact that they are not family. You see? Relatives have your same bloodline. Family have your back.
Right.
You see? So your family doesn't necessarily consist of those who are related to you via blood. Your family can be those who have no relation to you. But your relatives can just remain your relatives if y'all don't have each other's back.
Right.
You see? So I think it's imperative that relatives understand the concept and they can become family, and the enemy wouldn't exist, because enemies don't exist among family. People, and I watch certain social networks, and they say, watch your friends, watch your family, you got to watch certain family. No, you never have to watch a friend, or you never have to watch a family member. Never, if you understand the concept of family and friend.
Right.
But now, in some instances, it's imperative, as the brother was just saying, as the brother was just saying, you have to watch some of your relatives, because they have yet to reach that plateau of family.
Right, yeah, that's definitely profound right there, and I agree. Now also, I think in regards to family or regards to relatives, I think if we had family rules, sort of like the Mafia. The Mafia, they have rules, they have regulations, they have a code of conduct. And if you're in the Mafia, you're part of the Mafia family. And when you have a discrepancy between two relatives, those two relatives now have to sit down with the Godfather. The Godfather is the patriarch. He's the regulator. He's the enforcer of the rules or the code of conduct, that's set by the family, and is intergenerational. Before he was the Godfather, it was a Godfather before him that lived by the same rules or enforced the same rules. So if you're my brother and I lend you $400 and you don't give it back, we go sit in front of the Godfather and he mediate of how the situation is going to be handled, so that way these two relatives don't become enemies. Because, we all know the old story of Cain and Abel. We heard numerous stories about how one brother, made hit another brother in the head or even killed them. So I think if relatives had a certain code of conduct, they would remain family. When I think back to, my childhood, I can't think of, any cousins, sisters, brothers, or anybody in my family that I had a problem with as a child. I don't know if y'all can relate, but, when you're a child, when you're 5 years old, when you're 6 years old, it seems like all your relatives are family. And then as you grow into adulthood, things happen. And I don't know, I can't really put my finger on it. Maybe one of y'all can help me out, but things happen and it causes family or relatives to, go in different directions, and sometimes they become enemies.
I think I agree with you, John, because, and I was going to ask you a question. If I came into your house when we was younger, could I go in the refrigerator without permission?
Absolutely.
Could I take a shower in your house without permission?
Absolutely.
We were relatives, but we were also family back then.
Right.
You see? Because right now, you got some of your relatives right now that come in your house, and they can't go in your shower. They can't just take off their clothes, go in your bathroom, pick up their clothes, and take a shower. They can't do it.
Right.
They can't do it. But back then, we had the matriarch, we had the patriarch, and we were good because they established these particular rules. The rules that you're referring to from the Godfather is the rules to establish to the relatives, which will convert them into family.
Right.
You see? And just like you said with the $400, with the brother, loaning his brother $400, and when you sit down in front of that matriarch or patriarch, they're going to reinstill, because obviously you lost the concept of family, so they're going to reinstill what family is about. And family is more productive and more profound than money. You see? Because family, I'm not going to beat my family member for any money because I understand the concept.
Right.
And we are bigger, we are larger, we are broader than that. Than money, $400, $200, $5,000. We are larger than that. And sometimes our concept become a little smaller because we lose the concept of family.
Right. And, also on that note, I think that, in regards to family, when one person, is faced with a hardship, if everybody gave a little, nobody would have to give a lot. Jamil, how many brothers and sisters you have? Beloved. I don't know. Maybe he's.
No, I'm here, brother. No, I'm here.
Yeah. How many siblings do you have?
My father has 14 children, so I have 13 little sisters.
Right. So if you have 13 siblings and you needed $400, that would be pretty much what, $25 per person.
Yeah, that's not.
Nobody would have to be put in a bind to where one person have to give you a lump sum. If everybody gave a little, nobody would have to give a lot, and that should be a family rule.
Also understand that in the scenario or illustration that I gave, we're dealing with other factors of poverty and struggle.
Right.
Of course, this wouldn't be an issue if our last name was Kennedy, Rothschild, Morgan, DuPont. But if you're a Jackson or a Jones in North America, that's 400 could be violence. Not with me per se, but there are families who went to war, physical war, over $40, $50. Like, I need that. I told you I needed that. Why are you playing with? Now you go to question your family's intentions. Like, is it still lying to me, or we don't have my $400? Now, it gets to that point. So it's unfortunate, but when desperate times call for desperate measures, and sometimes people do desperate things, and then you regret it. I think a better illustration will be, in terms of enemies, what if my fiance has sex with my blood brother? And that can cause the word enemy to be appropriate right now. Because this is so egregious. That's probably unforgivable. You can't make that right.
Right.
Because that would be even more egregious than 4 hours, because I think all of us on the phone get 4 hours in one day, legally. We're just all those kind of men. So that's not about nothing. But you spoke with my fiance, that's a problem that, even if I try to forgive you with the elephant memory like mine, I'm probably not going to ever forget it. Even if I live to the age of 120, it's going to hurt me probably forever. So that would cause for some, I'm not saying I would harm you physically, but you'd be classified as an enemy, and I probably wouldn't want to see you again. That's just me.
Right.
Others might be worse.
Arthur Malik, you was you had something to say on that one?
Yeah, I was going to say that sometimes we have to be mindful of some of the things, because the position that we will attack, there's a chance that we can find ourselves in that same position and being attacked. And what I mean by that is that as far as forgiveness is concerned, sometimes we may have certain things that really bother us, and people do that, and we think that we can't forgive them. But now, we have to put ourselves or place ourselves in a position where we want to be forgiven.
Right.
And if we put ourselves in that position, it'll be a little more easier to forgive. Because we all want to be forgiven. Everyone wants to be forgiven when they find themselves in a position where it was too hectic or whatever. They want to be forgiven. They did something wrong. They did it wrong. They're looking for forgiveness. So I think sometimes we should be mindful and forgive as well. But now, as me personally, I can forgive, but if you continuously do that particular behavior, then I have an issue. Then we might have to cut ties.
Right. And whenever there's rules and whenever there's a code of conduct, then there's also penalties. Like in the mob.
Oh, absolutely.
When you think about the Mafia, too many people didn't mess up. because sometimes the penalty was death. You know, like they would just have to take you out. Now, I'm not saying that, that should be the penalty in family. I think that's kind of extreme. But there's also that whenever there's laws, whenever there's rules, it has to be a penalty, so that way a person will think twice before they violate one of these rules, in regards to family.
But I think but sometimes that, John, is out of fear. You don't want to establish anything out of fear.
Right.
You want to establish something out of respect. I think it's more genuine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tribe in Africa, and I'm gonna get the information and give it to you clearly. But it's a tribe in Africa. When a child does something wrong, they take the child away from the village, and all the elders form a circle around this child. And they begin to tell the child all the good things about himself. All the great possibilities that you have within you. They don't say anything negative about the wrong that he's done. They point out all the beauty that resides in him.
Right.
So now he come out there. Now he's held to a higher standard. Wow, I'm all this. So my expectation is greater than the behavior that I was displaying.
Right.
So it calls them now to look at people different, to consolidate, to bring about this family value. You see, because nobody is demeaning them. Oh, look what you did. Look what you a thief. You don't belong to us. You ain't nothing. You no good. Nobody in the family should talk to you. You see, but they don't do that. They show you all your beauty.
Right.
Maybe if we try that,
you go to Mafia, beautiful illustration, because at one time they lived by.
You kind of low, Jamil.
I said, beautiful illustration with the Mafia, because they lived by a code of conduct. I think actually Mafia or La Fusa actually means this thing of ours.
That was an excellent analysis.
So when you say this thing of ours, it's not for outsiders. It's just this thing of ours.
Right.
And if we want to keep this thing of ours going, we have to remove all cancers, all poisons, all toxins. This is what Mr. Farrakhan put it so eloquently when he said, in a Muslim country, they kill you for adultery.
Right.
There's a cancer that has to be removed. Because this could tear a family apart. It could tear a mosque apart, a synagogue apart, a church apart, a family apart. It's a problem. So that's why the penalty is so severe as to give an example to anybody else who may have that ill notion in their mind. I think I'm a typical orphan, rather fiance. Now I think I'm really taking that position for the last guy to try to, hey. So sometimes things are done to make an example so that others know better. And to make sure it never, ever, ever happens again.
Right.
So that's why, in terms of that illustration, again, that's not necessarily for me. I don't want to do a bid for a woman who has violated me like that, or for a brother who's betrayed my trust. I think I have to, for my own sanity, get away from both of them.
Right.
And stay away from both of them.
Yeah, I heard.
They have to live with that for the rest of their life, but they violated me for no reason. That's their penalty. I wouldn't take it there myself personally. In an organization where there was no blood ties, I could just let that happen a little bit easier. But for my blood brother, I'd rather just live with that for the rest of his life. That's the penalty.
Right. I heard somebody say one time, it coincides with, the story that Malik just told about the tribe in Africa. I heard a man say one time that it's like it's easy to make a person do right, but it's harder to make a person want to do right. So, you can tell a person, this is what you should do, this is the right thing to do. And a person could do it out of fear, or they could do it because they just genuinely want to do right.
Right.
But if you can use a strategy or a psychology to make a person want to do right, then you won't have to look over your shoulder.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And ideally speaking, you always strive toward that. My father used to always say, you can't make a man do, but you can make a man wish he had it done. So I can't make you not sit over behind my back, but I can create a scenario for you where you wish you didn't do that. You know, and so that's why penalties are important.
Mm-hmm.
The penalties are rewards. Penalties are rewards for actions and deeds. So we have to establish justice in order to keep this thing going. The thing about us, we have to keep it going forever. You know, so in order to that, there has to be something that makes you not want to do it again. Like I said, for me, I would just shun you forever. Like, we just can't talk no more. Forever. You, the fiance, we're done. And we have to let the family know. Patriarch, and make sure the family they know, why you don't put your brother no more? What happened? That's what he did to me. And this is my response. I'm just going to leave him and her alone.
All right, so Jamil, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Jamil. Like on you know, in regards to that premise, if you have a blood brother, you know, your biological brother, and you know he has sex with your wife, you know, somebody that you love, and you said you don't know if you have a blood brother, you know, your biological brother, and you know he has sex with your wife, you know, somebody that you love, and you said you don't know, even after 120 years, you'll be able to forgive him. Now, what if your blood brother has sex with somebody else's wife who you don't know, who you don't love, or you're not related to? Would you be able to forgive him for that?
Absolutely. Because
I think
we're dealing with the issue of how the family become enemies, and how the strangers become enemies.
Right.
Because in my response to you, I said if it was somebody else, let their head be taken by all means.
But the act,
I'd walk away.
But the act is the same. You know, I don't know.
Right. Do you disagree with the act or the person? That's a good question.
No.
Do you disagree with the act or the person that's committing the act?
I would say this. And we were in a state where morality was the law, and the other person, and my brother had to fly, and so be it. That's the law. He has to deal with that. If I could do something about his head not flying, I would try to do it. Yeah, no doubt. No brother, for sure. Absolutely. That's emotion talking about. That's his emotion speaking. I love it.
Right, and I think,
you might have to have his head thrown.
You know, I bring that up because, you know, I got a cousin, right, who recently got into a situation. And I had other family members questioning me about his innocence or his guilt. Now, I think y'all know where I'm going with this.
Hold on, that's me. That's me you're talking about.
Yeah, that's you.
That's me you're talking about. I'm Jaja's cousin. Arthur Malik is related to Jaja. That's my cousin and my family member. Talk about it. Go ahead, Jaja.
Right. So.
Are you guilty, Malik? Are you guilty, brother? We don't sugarcoat nothing on Mad Men Radio. So we Mad Men. So are you Mad Men? We don't sugarcoat nothing. Let's go. We real men. Are you guilty?
Right.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of what?
Right.
That's what I'm gonna find out.
Right. So now
I'm guilty of finding out who my relatives and my family are.
Right. So now, if you have other relatives, you know, questioning his innocence or his guilt, and I'm telling them it doesn't matter to me whether he's innocent or guilty. I just have a family member who needs my help. So we'll deal with the innocent or guilt later. The first thing we have to do is help him.
You know what, brother? That brings me back to a hadith of Prophet Muhammad, because he was asked by his companions.
Mm-hmm.
They said to him, if our brother is being oppressed, they said, we know what to do if he's being oppressed. But what do we do if he's the oppressor? He said, you stop him. He said, you ought to help your brother whether he is right or wrong. They said, well, what if he, what if he's the one doing the wrong? We stop him. We prevent him from doing wrong. The key point is you ought to help your brother whether he is right or wrong. So I see where you're coming from in terms of your brother to be a cousin. You're going to help him because that's your brother. That's your cousin. That's your brother.
See, but if you listen to the diction of Jay, if you listen to his statement, if you listen to his words, and this was important, his words are very important. He said that he stated that we need to help who? Our family member. That's what he said.
Right. And I agree.
No, I agree. He said, but listen to the words. He said, I just want to help my family member. That's what we have to do. We have to help our family member. His perception of me was more than just a relative.
Right.
It was also family. You see, the perception of those who disregarded me only see me as what? A relative.
Right.
A relative. Now, to what degree do you help families? We know under American jurisprudence, we know they're hiding a criminal per se, for example. So you hide a criminal in your house. That's called harboring a fugitive. As a family member, should you be willing to go to that degree to risk your own freedom for your family?
That was, to me, it seemed like, I don't mean to cut you off, but to me, it seemed like that would come natural. You know, like I remember when I was 16 years old, and I had a warrant, and the police came to my house looking for me, and my mother answered the door, and they said, "Is this person home?" Naturally, my mother said no, even though I was upstairs.
Right.
You know, naturally, like. Right.
That's a mother's love.
Right. That's what I'm saying. This is my mother.
That's a mother's love. Right.
Even she didn't first think about what was going to be the consequences of her lying to the police or her harboring a fugitive.
Right.
Her first thought was to protect her family.
Her son. Absolutely. Right. Listen. This is because I'm watching a TV show where a mother is crying because two twin brothers who are sons of hers, one of the two twins lied on the other about a murder. So one of the twins is in prison crying, saying, "Mommy, he's lying on me. I didn't do the murder. He did the murder." So now we got blood brothers who are twins. Someone's lying here. So I think a mother's love is a little bit different than the love for a cousin or a brother or a sister. Because mommy ain't going to turn to you in.
You're separating family, though.
Right,
but remember the analogy that he gave you about the mafia. The family has the same criteria. The criteria doesn't change. The criteria for family doesn't change. Whether I'm implemented towards my cousin, whether I'm implemented towards my sister, whether I'm implemented towards my uncle, or the criteria doesn't change.
All right.
I would agree with you because for me, I'm not going to watch my brother take a bid for something that he didn't do. That's just me. I'm not doing it. I'll take the bid. He didn't do it. I'm taking the bid. I'm not watching him have something he didn't do.
Right now,
I don't part about it because I'm good.
Right. I don't. There's no such thing as subtitles in regards to family. Like growing up, you know, when I look at Arthur Malik, when I think about his mother, you know, when we lived in the same house. When she ironed his clothes, she ironed my clothes. When she fed him, she fed me. I can never think about an instance to where she treated her son like a son and her nephew like a nephew. No, she treated us equally in the household. When she brought him a coat, she brought me a coat. You know, I can't never think about an instance where she said, "This is my son, I'm gonna feed him, but since you my nephew, you know, your parents gonna have to feed you."
Yeah, you can go home and eat.
Right. There was no
brother Malik. Yeah. And Brother Jack, it's about 4:30, so I'm gonna have to depart ways right now. I think it's some other business.
Okay.
It's been a wonderful show. And hopefully we'll return tomorrow to something that's equally important.
Right, yeah, we'll be closing out anyway in about another 3 minutes.
Okay.
All right, so we'll see you tomorrow, you know, for the next show.
Yes, sir. Thank you both.
All right,
Okay, bro.
All right, peace. Yeah, but again, you know, I don't think there's a such thing as subtitles, you know, when it comes to family. Like, you know, I can't, if you're my cousin or you my nephew, you know, I shouldn't look at you differently.
If you're family.
Right.
You see? But you got to remember, back in the days, what I noticed too, we first cousins. My mother and your father is brother and sister, so that makes us first cousins.
Right.
But back when we were growing up, there wasn't first cousins. We were brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like, That's the crazy part. It was like we was brothers and sisters. It wasn't no first cousins. Like, no, we was brothers and sisters. Right. That's why I asked you the question, when I was younger, could I go in your house and take a shower? Of course I could. We was brothers and we was family.
Right.
We was family. And when those patriarchs and those matriarchs died off, man, it dwindled off, and now we just become relatives, man. Right. So many of us just relatives. And I think we have to get over these particular hurdles, man, these particular pride, feelings, emotions. We have to get over these particular things and become family and strive towards familyhood instead of being relatives.
Right, and also I think when the patriarch and the matriarch, like grandmothers and grandfathers, when they pass away, I think the problem is that a lot of the relatives don't hold on to the rules or the code of conduct that was set forth by your ancestors. And once you lose that, then it puts you automatically in violation.
That's true, but you got to remember the torch that was passed on. They didn't fully blow it out by themselves, although they take the responsibility for it, because the trials and tribulations that occur in their lives also help blow that torch out a little bit also.
Right.
You see, like the drugs, it was abundance in our family, you know what I'm saying? Abuse, it was abundance in our family. So all these particular things helped blow out the torch that was passed on our grandparents.
Right.
You see? So although, now when we become conscientious of things, we have to try to regroup, and we have to try to do better. We have to try to reestablish these particular rules and regulations, and by chance we could become family.
Right. Yeah. So on that note, we're approaching the 30-minute mark. So you have any closing remarks in regards to the topic, how do relatives become enemies, or just give a solution of how we can bring back family structure?
Well, I think it's imperative, because if you think about it, I have a sister.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I have two sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Both of my sisters been cheated on by their man before. Both of them.
Right.
Probably multiple times. They forgave them. Right? They forgave them. They have no blood relations. They have no ties that can keep them together forever. No ties. Right? They can easily say, that's my ex-man right there. Right? Now, I can do something, or they can do something to each other. It's simplistic. It's not as profound as they men cheating on them. Right. They'll never forgive them. They ain't talked to them for 2 or 3 years. And this is your blood relation. You have a knot. You have a bond that can't be penetrated. It's a tying knot. A relative, that bloodline is a tying knot that cannot be penetrated.
Right.
But you'll forgive this individual that you can call nothing, but you won't forgive your sister, your brother, your cousin, your niece, your nephew, your aunt. But you can't eliminate that relation from. So I think it's imperative that we have to learn to forgive our relatives like we forgive those who are not even related at all.
Right. Okay, so on that note, we're going to close out the show. We're going to come with the next topic tomorrow. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and we out. Peace.